Welcome back to State of the Nation. Tax evasion is not limited only to wealthy Nigerians, not limited to individuals. Many companies maintain 2 to 3 of those platforms. I'm still here with the taxation experts, Mr. Folorunsho, Albert Folorunsho, that is, my apologies. He is a consultant of managing consultant of Pedabo Professional Services and a member of the Presidential Committee that is working the VIDS agenda of the government, as well as Zakabala. He is here with me also in the studio. Let's continue with your line of thoughts. You are trying to make a point concerning how the status quo will affect the payee's responsibility.
Okay, what I was explaining was that payee, which is pay as you earn, is the tax that is deducted from those that are in employment. But from analysis, we know that those are pretty compliant to a large extent, even though we know that it is not 100%. But the focus of VADES mainly will be to individuals, traders, those who are in business, those who are supposed to be filing returns as under direct assessment, and companies that have not been compliant, those who have not been declaring their income, basically. So it is not mainly for payee. But if you have also been under payee, maybe you are the chairman, chief executive, and you have we have benefited so much from your company, and you realize that you have not paid tax on those benefits, you can also come under VADES and declare.
And declare that.
Yes, even though it's employment income.
Okay, let's talk to Ibrahim Babangida. He is the chairman, House Committee on House Committee on Finance. I want to thank you so much indeed for coming on the show at this time. He's calling us from Kaduna, I understand. Tell us your own views. What's the stand of the House concerning this new VADES scheme that we're looking at?
Mr. Gimba, I heard about the signing of the executive order by Mr. President, and even though I'm supposed to be at the venue of the signing of the executive order, unfortunately, because we're on break, you see, what we intend to do is maybe by the time we resume on the 4th, we are going to look at the whole scheme, because I'm aware that as far as company income tax is concerned, we already have self-assessment, which is a voluntary compliance, which has been in operation since around 1992. Each company is expected to voluntarily comply and file their own returns. And that particular scheme has been on. But as it relates to individuals, maybe they are trying to strengthen it to extend it to individuals. And I heard one of your guests was saying that it's targeted to traders. But I don't believe it should be restricted to traders, because you see, employment income payee scheme is a minor or aspect of personal income tax. Each employee working under any government or any private agency, while you have extra income, apart from your employment income, is supposed to be subject to tax. And one thing I heard about this particular voluntary scheme that is just signed by the acting president is the issue of declaration of assets. You see, integration, you can only put assets into use in generating an income before you claim capital allowance to it. So I think it's something that we need to look at to see exactly how it's going to be operational. Because taxation is a little bit technical as such. Because if you look at the state governments who are part of the scheme, who are trying to come on board or are going to be beneficiaries, you see almost 90% of returns that are filed under State Internal Revenue Service in most of the states are under estimation. They are not a true return. They don't file returns. They only assess them on the basis of estimation. So I think what is fundamental is first of all to encourage taxpayers to start filing their returns. That's what is important.
Okay, let me bring back the discussion into the studios. He has said that estimation is basically the parameter that is being used to get taxes out of individuals and organizations. Is this what is happening?
Well, taxes are not based on estimation. Taxes are based on actual income. And as employees, you pay tax on your income, on your remuneration from the company.
What's the biggest challenge, do you think? For instance, we're looking at the community tax liaison officer's role in this whole matrix. What's the biggest challenge, though?
The awareness, the fact that people don't even know how much tax they are supposed to pay, the fact that people don't even know whether they are supposed to pay tax, the fact that you have a house and you collect rent and you don't think that that rent is taxable. I heard the Honorable speaking. The fact that you are declaring your asset does not mean that the assets are going to be taxed. We don't really have property tax in Nigeria. But we're saying that when you have an asset, the asset is generating income, that income should be subjected to tax. If you have rental income, that rental income should be taxed. And of course, assets is the one that generates income. So the more reason why when you are declaring, you should declare both assets and income so that the tax authority can track the asset and be able to track the income that is coming out of such assets. That is the main focus. And again, if you have acquired assets with funds on which you have not paid tax, then you are expected to also declare the fact that you have not paid tax.
Okay, let's get the views of Zakabala. How will this impact on job creation? For instance, we know that these community tax liaison officers, about 7,500 of them are being trained. That's some job creation. But the bigger picture, how will this impact on the economy, looking at the job figures?
Well, like we said, let us have responsible government, and the citizens will be responsible, and they will pay their taxes. There is so much that we are losing in the direction of indirect taxes. Because when you talk about custom duties, excise duties, export duties, you talk about VATs, then you talk about capital gain tax and others. We lose on so many of these. But generally also, where are the inefficiencies across the strata of whether the federal government, the state government, and the local government? We have problems with also inefficiencies as far as tax practitioners or collectors are concerned. We have also issues with corruption. We have also issues with statistical data.
So does that seem to suggest that the structure is not yet right?
Yeah, we need to continue to cleanse the structure. We need to continue to improve and do something about the model. The key thing about taxes is that it must be reasonable. It must be equitable. It should be something that is simple. It must be something that must be achievable.
Okay, let's talk to Babangida again. What do you make of the multiple taxations that people complain about in the present time, especially looking at how you graduate from the state to the local governments in moving anything for that matter, or even in payee arrangements? How do you see this addressing the issues?
You see, we have... Hello?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, okay. You see, we have an approved list of taxes to be collected by federal government, state and local government. That approved list of collection is very, very clear. And I had one of the guests talking about withholding tax. We see withholding tax is one of the best instruments you can use in bringing people into the tax mix. Because he's talking about rental income. Rental income is withholding tax related. When you are paying your rent, you will tell certain percentage as withholding tax on rent. So, but before you do that, you need to have a biometric database of the property owners. Because you see, I believe taxation is the only way you can even address issue of corruption. Let me give you an example. Where an individual has an annual income of, let's say, 2 to 3 million naira per annum, and that individual is staying in a house of 4 million naira per annum as rent. Now, the implication is that if he pay 5% withholding tax on the 4 million, there is no way when he is filing his tax returns, he will file his tax return less than 4 million naira. So it's as the honor of the taxpayer to now show that why you obtain the extra income to be able to pay the rent, that is taking into consideration his domestic needs. So I think if government is serious on the issue of this withholding tax, I think we should center more on the issue of withholding tax and creating a database.
Many thanks indeed. That's a good place to leave it. Ibrahim Babangida, he is the chairman, House Committee on Finance, talking to us from Kaduna. I'm afraid this is where we're going to have to bring it to a close. Taxation expert, Mr. Albert Folorunshaw, managing consultant of Pedabo Professional Services, a member of the Presidential Committee set up to propagate the VAT scheme, as well as Zakabalai, Chartered Tax Practitioner. I want to thank you so much for being part of our State of the Nation, and also to you, thank you so much for being part of it. I'm Gimba Omar. See you next week for a fresh package. Bye for now.